afternoon and welcome back to our YSD parental meeting. My name is Judith Solis and I am an instructional specialist for the special ed department. Thank you for joining us this afternoon through Facebook and through YouTube. And with us today is Isabel Rodriguez, also an instructional specialist, as well as Jessica McKay, which is an assistive technology specialist. And they will be here to help me answer some of the questions that you may have. So I just want to remind you that you are welcome to post questions through the Facebook page. Please remember that this is a public space, so please refrain from sharing any personal information. Of course, if you have any questions that we may answer, you are welcome to email our department and we will be happy to help you with anything you might need. You may see auto captions based on your user settings, and we are recording these meetings, so the captions might be added later also through the parent site and through the Facebook page. We will be adding a bit.ly so you can access the parent site. You should be able to see that in the banner. So today we're going to be giving you a presentation, which is a series of several presentations we are sharing with our parents. And this is a guide of helping struggling learners with online learning. And all we want to do is provide you with different ideas to help you while your students are learning from home. And these tips are intended so it'll help facilitate the success of your students, even when they go back to the regular school day in the regular classroom. I'm sure you have seen this before, or you have heard it. It takes a village to raise a child. So what we mean, the reason we wanted to share this with you is just as a reminder that the teachers, the school, and the district personnel are an extension to your home. And so our goal is to always help with the development of your children. In the agenda today, we will be discussing some social emotional strategies, preparing your student to learn, creating a learning environment, and the power of positive and encouraging feedback. The first thing that we want to do is we want to ask you, are your students mindful or mindful? And what we mean by this is we want to make sure that that we give you tips on how to help them become mindful. Sometimes our kids come with, based on their home environment, they come with lots of things on their mind. That's their mind being full. So when we're talking about mindfulness, this is a type of meditation which helps you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment, without interpretation or judgment. And it involves some breathing methods, guided imagery, or other practices that help the body and the mind relax and reduce stress. So what are some of the things that you can do at home to help your students be mindful? A morning and afternoon check-in is one of our tips. Just creating a time to do a check-in is going to be essential. I don't know if it ever happened to you that you have woken up and either you have not gotten enough rest, something either happened the night before, or it happened in the morning, and it just ruined the rest of your day. Well, it's no different for our children. If something triggers them, if we say something as parents and triggers them in the morning, that's going to carry on throughout the day, and it'll take them some time to recover. So showing your child how to be able to recognize what they're feeling and how to manage their feeling to change their feelings from negative to positive is going to be crucial. We also encourage that you talk to the teacher and let the teacher know what is happening so that they feel that they know this information and they might be able to help you with some of the techniques that they have in the classroom with being more aware of the feelings and changing those negative feelings into a positive feeling. We also want to recommend that we plan the day ahead, that our students follow a schedule as provided by their teacher or their school, but whenever possible, that we chunk assignments by completing the hardest ones first. When we know what's expected throughout the day, it'll help our children be able to manage and break down assignments into smaller tasks. This, we call it as chunking. And some of our students are visual, so they might require step-by-step schedules. We want to make sure that we create a visual schedule for them. A visual schedule will help your children manage and check off items as they go throughout the day. We do have some applications that exist online if you do not have a visual schedule that has been created by the teacher, but you are able to contact your teacher and they will be able to give you a visual schedule. Some of the online applications are ChoiceWorks and visual schedules, and I know my partners are now putting up some other ideas that you can use to create a visual schedule. It doesn't have to be so fancy. It can be something that can be drawn or just something like this. This is another example of a visual schedule that was actually drawn. Call this a do-it-yourself. Are there any questions? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. If there are no questions, I'm going to check in real quick. I think we might have some things going on. Okay. I think we're okay. So now we want to make sure that we are getting ready to learn. And getting ready to learn, we have some tips that we would like to share with you. One of the first things is just setting up a study space for your child. Just finding an area in the house where your child can be comfortable and focused. We want to make sure it's separate from the relaxation, only because it might be too tempting to fall asleep in the bed nearby. So we also would like to recommend that it is away from TV or away from any other distractions. It's easy for a child to pick up a phone or even a Nintendo Switch or whatever it is and be able to get a little bit distracted. We want to ask you to remind you to teach your child to speak up and ask for help. Lots of times I've seen the kids just go, yes, 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 and really not get the whole lesson or part of the lesson. So we want you to encourage your children to speak up and ask for help. When things get tough for students, we just want to offer support. We want to collaborate with the teachers as parents and encourage the children to network with each other. And what we mean by that is just get a friend, get a phone number, call a classmate and say, hey, what did I miss? Is there something that you can help me with? And those are things that I even teach my child, that if we can't get straight to the teacher, we can always call a friend, call a couple of people, and they will go ahead and help you get through that lesson. We want to encourage networking with other children. And then, of course, support is always available. Kids are very good right now with social media. So if they get to talk to each other through their phone, they might be able to get information through the phone. And some of our teachers are recording their lessons, so we want to make sure that you get with them about getting some of those lessons, maybe to hear it again. The idea is that we stay connected with our student's teacher at all times, either by email, through Class Dojo, through Remind, whatever it might take for the teacher to be able to know that your student is struggling and that we need that extra support. Just always remember that you're the link between the teacher and your child. Throughout the day, we want to encourage brain breaks. And these are short, timed breaks that are designed to activate all parts of the brain, burn off some energy, and stay focused while working. And it can be dancing or stretching, exercises, coloring, puzzles, or yoga. And like, for example, with my child, I know that he likes to go offline, and of course he's going to hate that I'm saying this, especially on a live stream, but he will go ahead and sing or just kind of run outside for a little bit, whatever it's going to take to just take a few minutes off of that computer, and that's going to be a non-academic break for them. We also want you to be flexible. And what we mean by that is we're very aware that culturally we are normally asking our children to listen to the teacher, stay focused, pay attention, and so on and so forth. So what we want you to do is just be flexible, and if it's getting to be a little too much at the time, it's okay to walk away. Again, it doesn't have to be so rigid. So be flexible in allowing them to kind of look away or step away for a little bit. Always making sure that the teacher knows what your child is doing. In this example is a beautiful example of a learning environment, but we do know that not everybody has the same access to all these things. So it doesn't have to always be that way. So a simple table, a comfortable chair is probably just good enough. In our next slide, we also want you to know that it is different, that online learning is different, and it can be challenging for the teacher and the school support, but especially for our students. Communication both ways is going to be essential. So, if your child is stuck in a webinar or zoning out or in the presentation, just taking down notes will help them keep their mind engaged. Our students with special needs may require hand over hand or taking notes for them just so that they can go back and reference. Remember that it doesn't have to be complete sentences, it doesn't have to be complete paragraphs. If they're not able to do that, they can create an illustration to help them remember what they're learning. So just taking some moments, you're still there in the computer, but you are taking notes, will help them. We've also heard that there is a lot of concerns about eye strain. So our VI team has recommended 20 minutes, a 20-20-20 strategy, which is 20 minutes online and looking away for 20 seconds and 20 inches away. The other recommendation is the blue light glasses that can help with eye strain. And these are non-prescription glasses, and you might be able to get those through Amazon. Again, these are all recommendations. Next, we want to teach our students to write it down, to keep a journal, and write down any questions that they have in reference to their lessons. They sometimes will not want to be called on. They will not want to be pointed out. So if you teach them to write down their questions, they can come back and maybe meet with a teacher and ask at a different time what are some of the things that they had questions about. Also, making sure that they are either checking off or taking off some of those visuals as they complete throughout the day. Another one of the strategies is to lessen distractions. We want to go ahead and put away toys unless it's a fidget that they're needing to assist them with focus. We understand that some kids might need to have something in their hand. So all we're asking to put away is that switch or that is causing the distraction. Hold the phones in a different location if possible. And you might want to, if there's more than one individual in your home, find individual places for your siblings if possible. Somebody might be outside, somebody might be in the kitchen, somebody in the bedroom. It will help with a distraction. Be aware also, this is a good opportunity for us to mention that you should be aware that cameras and mics are open. The last thing we want is to say something that's inappropriate during a meet, so that the rest of the children in the classroom will hear it. So always be aware that the mics and the cameras are on. Be aware of your surroundings. If your child has problems with keeping their attention, if there is something that's distracting them, even in their Google Meet, make sure that you pin the camera to the teacher to avoid being distracted by the other children. I know that some of the kids are using a grid and you are able to see all the participants of the class, and sometimes that can be distracting in itself. So we want to make sure that you teach them to turn that off for a minute. Even sometimes looking at yourself can be distracting. And so if you pin that screen where you have the teacher, that might help. For our older kids, and as they start going into middle school, we want to make sure that we show them how to create independence. And that's for all of our kids. We allow them to take risks, and then we celebrate even when they have failed attempts. We want them to learn from all of their failures as well. Some of the things that you might want to say when this happens is, I am glad that you made that attempt. It's okay that you did not get that mark. And next time you'll be doing better now that you know how it's done. Praise changes the morale. Being praised makes the recipient feel good about themselves, and this can help boost their performance. Praise provides a kind of positive experience or uplift that can increase your students' morale, motivation, the engagement, and it can renew their school commitment.
Way to go, son! You're the best!
You're praising your kid all wrong. It's not your fault you're doing it wrong. You probably relish the exact same praise. You're clever. You're the best. You're gorgeous. And you're giving your child encouragement and self-confidence, right? Well, you're not. This type of praise focuses on what the child is, which in theory sounds great. All parents want their kids to be and feel smart, beautiful, and strong. But in practice, this type of praise fosters what is called a fixed mindset. I am, therefore I am. The problem with this I am mindset is that it doesn't accommodate any explanation of failure, and it doesn't allow any opportunity of getting better with effort. You are who you are, and there's just no changing it. A fairly binary and rigid paradigm if you think about it. When you're 4 or 5 or 10 or 13, and you've been told all of your very short life that you are a particular thing, you tend to cling to doing that thing well, rather than trying new things you may not be so good at. A child praised for being smart starts to see mistakes as personal flaws. They may even avoid exploring new subjects or trying new skills they're not good at, lest they appear not smart. And that, parent, is the sound of praise blowing up in your face. So what does good praise sound like? It focuses on actions that a child can control, like trying, hard work, or perseverance. This kind of praise sends the message that the child can learn with exploration, effort, and strategy. It instills what psychologists call a growth mindset. That is, a mindset that allows for change. Failure can become success, weakness can become strength, confusion can become intelligence. Suddenly, challenges become exciting opportunities instead of terrifying failure traps. And here's the secret. Your kid loves any kind of praise you provide, so she won't notice the difference. Ready to start instilling some growth mindset? Here's how you do it. Stop focusing on outcomes or personal traits, and instead comment on the effort, strategy, creativity, or struggle the child experienced. If your kid doesn't know what behavior or attitude you're praising, then they'll never be able to do it again. Tell stories of hard work, commitment, endurance, and persistence so she learns these things are more valuable than luck or talent. Very few people become the best at anything without years of hard work, dedication, and many, many failures in between. You really have to mean what you say, particularly around failure, or it kind of doesn't count. So swallow that disappointment when your kid comes home with a bad grade. Help him pivot into problem-solving mode and frame it as a challenge to work harder for the next exam. Too much of any kind of praise can make a kid expect it all the time, which kind of defeats the point. So give praise strategically. You probably knew this one was coming. Are you modeling a growth mindset in your own life? Does your child see you accepting and learning from your mistakes? Does she see you persevering towards your goal despite obstacles? Or do you throw in the towel anytime someone says you're not the best, prettiest, smartest person in the whole world? Congratulations! We really like how you stuck with this video all the way through. That showed perseverance. Keep it up!
Okay, so thank you very much for sticking through that video. We appreciate that. And so again, praise changes the morale. And as you can see, they have different recommendations so that you can go ahead and praise your child for all of their hard work. You know what? And sometimes it doesn't hurt to praise that teacher for all of her work as well. Okay, in our next recommendation or our next strategy is to just change it up. That we take a 5-minute break, and I know that we talked about that earlier, but during that time, again, we exercise, we look away, just always letting the teacher know that it's starting to get a little bit difficult and that we need to take that mind break. We want to be able to move to a different location or stand up during instruction, do something else. Allow for your kids to always be kind to their mind. Here are some ideas of some of the things that your children can do. They can sit outdoors and take their classroom outdoors. What a great opportunity that we did not have before, that they're able to just kind of walk outside and maybe take that lesson outside. If you have a yoga ball, those are very inexpensive products that you can purchase if you want, and that might help with either sitting or stretching, just doing something different for them. Also, if you want to have your child or your young adult wants to stand up, we have to do it ourselves sometimes when we're sitting here presenting all day, so standing will also help. And I'm sure that there's many more different things that you can go ahead and try with your child so that they feel comfortable in taking that online lesson. Remote learning will help reinforce lifelong skills such as time, energy management, independence, and creative thinking. We understand that it can be difficult, but it's definitely achievable. And this concludes our presentation for today. Please make sure that you type in any questions you may have. And again, this will be a series of several presentations that we will have from the Special Ed Department. Thank you again for joining us. We are happy to help with whatever you need, so please reach out as you will see a banner that will come up with the way that you can contact us. Also, don't forget that we have a parent portal that you're able to access some of these videos for future reference. Again, thank you for joining us this afternoon and have a wonderful afternoon.